Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Viva's World. This is Vinita here. Today we will be discussing about the topic Indian classical dance forms. So as we all know, and maybe few of you all don't know, the beginners or the learners, for your kind information, we have 8 different classical dance forms, Indian classical dance forms. So I may not be able to get into deeper into each dance information, each art form. However, a basic content of each and every dance form will be discussed in this session. So what are the 8 different classical dance forms? We have Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Mohiniyattam, Kathakali, ODISSI, Kathak, Manipuri and Satriya. To begin with our first classical dance form, Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam, in fact, it is known as a very oldest dance form that was originated from the state Tamil Nadu. It was in fact a temple dance tradition of the Devadasis, and we have 6 different styles in this particular art form. We have Mysore style, Madras style, Tanjavur style, Pandanallur style, Varuvur style and Kalakshetra. So these are the 6 different styles in this one dance form that a lot of practitioners learn, practice and perform. To begin with the repertoire of Bharatanatyam, we always begin with a song in praise of Lord Ganesha, and then followed by a set of different items in order like Kalaripu, Jatiswaram, Shabdam, Varnam, Padam, Javali, Ashtapadi, and then ending with Tillana and a Mangala Shloka. Of late, we even have some Kirtanams, Pushpanjali, Vachanas, Devarnamas are also being included in the Bharatanatyam repertoire. Now, talking about the musical instruments that is being used in a Bharatanatyam repertoire, we have cymbals, that is Natvathalam, Mridangam, violin, veena, flute and yes, tabla also. And yes, the costume and jewelry. This particular art form carries a heavy and in fact beautiful costume and jewelries designed when it comes to a performer. So a dancer is expected to wear a pajama type costume, or it is called a pant costume. Also there are different type of skirt costumes that is being designed. Also a sari is also draped in a form of in different way and presented as a costume as well. And when it comes to the jewelry, we have a short necklace, long necklace, jhumka with a matil, the headset, the Surya Chandra and bangles, the odiyanam, the hip belt, and the hair would be braided back with a rakudi kept. And also, yes, sometimes the whole hair will be taken and we all put a bun also, and then followed by the flowers decorated around. So this is about Bharatanatyam. Now the second dance form that we would be talking about is Kuchipudi. Kuchipudi is a dance form that was developed from the state Andhra Pradesh. The word Kuchipudi itself is derived from the name of a village in Andhra Pradesh which is called Kuchelapuram. Now, this art form has a very long tradition of dance drama which was known under the generic name of Yakshagana. In 17th century, Kuchipudi style of Yakshagana was conceived by Siddhendra Yogi, who is a very well-known Vaishnavite poet and a visionary who had a capacity to give a concrete shape to some of his visions. So he was stepped into the literary Yakshagana tradition, being guided by his guru Tirtha Narayana Yogi, who was a well-known author, in fact, also author of Sri Krishna Leela Tarangini. Themes when it comes to the Kuchipudi performance, it is being taken from the mythological stories and the scriptures, and definitely portrayal of few characters are also a central motive of this dance form. Tarangam is one of the unique element found in Kuchipudi performance. Now when it comes to a repertoire, the traditional Kuchipudi repertoire is the Yakshaganam and Kalapam. And when it comes to a solo traditional repertoire, we have Ganesha Vandana, Jatiswaram, Shabdam, Kalapam, Ashtapadi, Padam, Javali, Shlokam, and so on. And of course, Kautvam. Kautvams are a feature of the performance when it comes to a distinctive performance of a Kuchipudi program. And when it comes to the costume and jewelry, it is very similar to the Bharatanatyam costume and jewelry. They have these ornaments along with a kache type costume or the cut costumes we call. And of course the decorated plate. In fact, Kuchipudi dancers have even more elaborate hairstyle that they do when it comes to a performance. And of course, musical instruments are also very similar to the Bharatanatyam art form, like mridangam, cymbals, violin, veena, and so on. The next art form that we would discuss about is Mohiniyattam. In fact, this is one of the favorite art form that I've been learning and pursuing and performing. So Mohiniyattam was originated from Kerala. The word Mohini itself means a beautiful woman, and Attam means to dance. So Mohiniyattam means a beautiful woman dancing. And that is why it is called as the dance of the enchantress, because it is known, very well known for its graceful movements, and the aharyam of the Mohiniyattam art form looks so beautiful and elegant. So long time ago, this particular art form was performed only by the Devadasis in the temple premises and royal courts, strictly, and not anywhere else. In fact, the first reference of Mohiniyattam was found in Vyavaharamala, composed by Marmangalam Narayanan Nambudiri, the famous poet. It was during the 16th century AD that we find these references in Vyavaharamala. The major contributions later was made by Maharaja Swati Tirunal and Vallatol Narayanan Menon, Iraman Thambi, and Kutti Kunja Tangachi. But after the downfall of Swati Tirunal period is when Vallatol Narayanan Menon, founder of Kerala Kalamandalam, actually revived it, or gave a status in the modern times for this particular art form. Now, when we talk about the repertoire of Mohiniyattam, we have an invocatory piece, begin with a Ganesha Stuti or a Cholketta, then followed by Jatiswaram, Varnam, Padam, Ashtapadi, and then Tillana. This is the repertoire of Mohiniyattam. And the musical instruments used for program is Maddalam, Edakya, flute, Mridangam, Chenda, Tampura, and also Veena. Now, when we talk about the costume and jewelry of this particular art form, the costume is designed in an ivory or off-white silk material with a pure golden border. In fact, that is the traditional Mohiniyattam costume, off-white with pure golden border. And when we talk about the jewelry also, it is all traditional jewelry that we use: Manga Mala, Kashamala, Nagapadam, Palakya Mala, and many other traditional ornaments that we get to see in Kerala tradition and culture. Of course, followed by Jimiki, Martil, and a Netichuri with Surya Chandra, that is optional. And how you can differentiate Mohiniyattam from other dance form? The main aharyam is when it comes to tying the hair. In fact, the dancers they actually take the whole hair and tie it up towards the side, the left side. And that's how you get to see the aharyam of Mohiniyattam with a side bun and with that elegant white and golden costume with all the traditional jewelry. The next art form is Kathakali. Yes, the very well known art form of Kerala. This is one of the oldest theatre forms in the world and the most energetic dance form usually done by the male community, originated from Kerala. The themes of Hindu mythology like Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are being used in a Kathakali performance. Even the female roles are usually done by men. And there are three types of characters when it comes to Kathakali. And those three types of characters are Sattvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. Now, interesting aspects of Kathakali is that its elaborate makeup and the noble characters, or noble characters such as a royal king or virtuous king, the divine heroes, or the very royal and divine characters. They are all shown in a green makeup. And when it comes to characters of high birth but having evil streak, such as a demon king, are allotted a similar green slashed with red marks on the cheeks. And when it comes to an extremely angry or excessively evil characters, they are predominantly in a red makeup and of course a flowing red beard, in fact. And when it comes to forest dwellers like hunters, or yeah, definitely the forest related characters. They're all represented with predominantly a black makeup base. Women and Aztecs have lustrous yellowish face, and the body movement and footwork of this particular art form is very much rigorous. To attain a high degree of flexibility and perfection, and when it comes to the muscle control required to perform this particular art form, a Kathakali dancer undergoes several years of training along with a regular or a special period of body massage too during the course of training. And when it comes to the costume and jewelry, they have this broad cylindrical skirt, priority given to red, green, white and black colors. And the types of makeup, we have 5 types of makeup in fact when it comes to a Kathakali performance. And they are Minakku, Pacha, Katti, Dadi and Kari. These are the 5 types of makeup. The next dance form that we will be discussing is Odissi. Odissi is a classical dance form of Odisha. According to the Rani Gufa inscriptions, this particular history of the dance form goes back to 3rd century. The basic dance position of this dance form is Samabhanga, Abhanga and Tribhanga. In fact, Tribhangi is the most prominent characteristic feature of this dance form that actually divides the whole body into 3, the head, bust and the torso. And it gives a very graceful and beautiful postures when the Tribhangi is being used. Of course, the dance form traces its origin to the ritual dances that were performed in the temples of ancient North India. Now, talking about the repertoire of this particular dance form, the repertoire begins with Mangalacharan and then Bhumi Pranam, Batu Nritya, Swara Pallavi, Sabhinaya and Moksha. The musical instruments that are used for this repertoire is Martala, harmonium, flute, sitar, tampura, violin, cymbals, tabla, bansuri, manjira and so on. In fact, the themes are taken as the divine love stories of the Radha and the cowherd Lord Krishna. Ashtabadis are performed based on the Jayadeva's Gita Govindam, and the Gita Govindam which actually shows the complex relationship between Radha and Lord Krishna. When it comes to the costume and jewelry of this particular dance form, they use this Sambalpuri sari to stitch the attire. They wear a red crown which is called the mukut with a peacock feather. Something called as allaka, that is the headpiece where the on which the tikka hangs, and kapa, the ear covers, and bahichudi are the armlets or the bracelets, and of course gungru, alta and the waist belt which is called the bingapatya. Our next classical art form is Kathak. Kathak is one of the very famous classical dance form in North India. In fact, it was during the Mughal Empire or the Mughal culture, Kathak became a very sophisticated chamber art. The word Kathak is derived from the word Kathak, which means art of storytelling. It is also synonymous with the community of artists who were known as Kathakars, whose actually the hereditary profession was to narrate a story while entertaining. In fact, this particular dance form is very much, it includes that graceful movements and a very sharp, clear-cut, vigorous movements also. And the movements include numerous parades executed at lightning speed, which ends with a static pose. Now, when it comes to the gharanas, Kathak is being trained in 3 different gharanas, school of art. So they are Lucknow, Jaipur and Banaras. When we talk about the repertoire of Kathak, we have Salami, That, Amad, Tora, Tukra, Parana, Tumri, or it is also called as Dadra, or Bhajan. This is how the repertoire is being done. And when it comes to the musical instruments, we have tabla, sarangi, or the harmonium. We all are very familiar with. Then we have manjira, pakkavaj. These are the instruments that is being used. And when it comes to the costume and jewelry, their traditional costume and jewelry are very simple. In fact, they have this blouse called as choli and the scarf that they tie called as orni, tikka or the bindi. Few of them don't wear bindi and they just have this big tikka that is being placed on the forehead. And yeah, that's it. So the jewels and the costumes that a Kathak performer wears is very simple and elegant ones. The next art form that we would discuss is Manipuri. In fact, this is one of the most beautiful dance form in India, originated from Manipur, which dates back to 2nd century. And the word Manipur itself means jewel of land. The state is being set like a gem in the verdant hills. In fact, it is believed that the legend goes that the gods drained a lake in a beautiful courtyard to find a space for dance. Of course, the dances are influenced by the Vaishnavism, worshipping Lord Vishnu and having flowered in exquisite Rasa Leela performances. There are various types of Rasa Leelas. Those are performed on various special occasions and festivals. When we talk about a repertoire of Manipuri dance form, the basic movements of this dance form is called the Chali or the Chari, and then followed by the Rasa Leelas. We have 5 types of Rasa Leelas. They are Basantaras, Maharas, Nrityaras, kunjaras and dibaras, followed by Pomcholam, Kartacholam, Mandila Cholam, Duff Cholam, or it is also called as Dhol Cholam. And when it comes to the musical instruments used, we have pum, small kartals, and sambong, harmonium, and pera. And of course, the costumes or jewelry are quite different from the other dance forms. The barrel-shaped skirt that they wear is called kumil, and the male performers wear a tighter sarong-like costume, which is called fanek. The last art form that we would discuss is Satriya, dance form of Assam, attributed to the 15th century Bhakti movement scholar and a saint, Mahapurush Srimanta Shankardeva. This particular art form was performed only in dance community halls known as the Namghar of the monastery temples, called as the Satras. The two dance forms prevalent in Assam before the Neo-Vaishnavism movement are the Ojapali and Devadasi. And this was performed with many classical elements. Now, the two different types of Ojapali are the Sukanani, it is also called as the Maroi Goa Oja, and the second one Vya Goa Oja. Sukanani Ojapali is of the Shakti cult, and the Vya Goa Oja is of Vaishnavism cult or Vaishnava cult. Shankardeva included Vya Goa Oja into his daily rituals in Satra, and even today it is being a part of all the rituals that takes place in Assam. The rituals of Satras in Assam. Now, when we talk about the repertoire of Satriya, the basic dance movement or the exercise of this Satriya is called Mati Akhara, and the akharas are divided into many, subdivided in fact. Maybe a few of you won't be able to grasp the words quick, so I'll just tell that very slowly. The akharas are subdivided into Ora, Sata, Jhalak, Sitika, Pak, Jap, Lon, and Khar. 8 subdivisions of akharas, and they are performed, the art form is being performed in 2 different styles, masculine and feminine. In fact, the masculine is known as Paurashik Bhang and the feminine is called the Stri Bhangi. Paurashik Bhangi and Stri Bhangi. Traditionally, this particular art form was performed only by the Bhokots. Bhokots means the male monks who were part of the, who were in the monastery, and as part of their daily rituals, they used to perform this particular art form also during special festivals. When we talk about the musical instruments of this art form, we have khol, cymbals, flute, violin, tambura, bhortal, manjira, bihutal, patital, shankha, kutital, and so on. And of course, the costume and jewelry. We have two different costumes for male and female. Male costume consists of dhoti and chadar, also paguri, which is the turban that they tie. And female costumes consists of the ghuri, chadar, kanchi. Kanchi is the waist cloth. And the costume is made of pat. It is a kind of silk that is available in Assam, and also made of muga silk. Jewelleries are made of raw gold which is known as kesa san, and they have a kopali on forehead and bracelets, different kinds of bracelets which are called muthi karu and gham karu, muthi karu and gham karu, and they have different types of neck pieces. And of course the male dancers have another ornament that they use, which is called the mata mori. I hope a little bit of brief or basic content that everybody should know about our Indian classical dance forms was covered in this session, and I hope it was useful and will be useful for all the learners and practitioners of each art form. I didn't go in depth of all these art forms, in fact, because of course, like I said in my very first video, I am a practitioner of Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. So definitely I will be going deeper into those topics. However, the other topics are also equally important, like the way I have my personal interest for Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam. Maybe another dancer could be interested in Kathak and ODISSI. And there are people who actually want to learn all the classical dance forms. So definitely it will take a lot of time to get deeper into these classical dance forms when it comes to the theory aspect, and that is why I have created this video, to know at least the basic knowledge about each dance form. And I hope this was useful, and like I always say, please do subscribe this channel, like and share this content so that this gets spread among the artists, the learners and the practitioners and everyone who wish to gain knowledge when it comes to our Indian classical dance form. Thanks again. Please do wait for more interesting videos. Thank you.